YouTube. It's not often that I make my voice publicly heard. Not very much of a vocal person. But when I do, it's usually regarding something that I take interest in. And, well, today it's about World of Tanks in general. What exactly is going on that's making me want to verbally speak out and talk about this game? I started this, about a year and a half ago, and, I got hooked on relatively quick. It can be fun, and it's very addictive. I don't understand what the addictiveness is, or how it's a formula that would automatically hook someone, but it does work. It does work. But lately I've been noticing something that's been actually a thorn in my ass for a while now. I've been hush-hush about it. My first match I ever had, I'm sure some of you have read on various other YouTube videos in the comment section of, like, Quickie Baby or the Mighty Jingles or who have you. But my first match ever in World of Tanks consisted of me going against two players that completely dominated and wiped out my entire team in, I would say a minute 30. I was surprised, right off the bat. I mean, I'm still trying to learn the game, the angling of the armor and what shells do what damage, and I was just surprised, the brazen action of these two players just zipping right down the coast over on, what was it, Malinovka, I believe it was, Camp Central. But these two players just zipped right down the coast by the water and proceeded to decimate my side with no care. I understand lower tiers are not life and death situations as a lot of players would consider it on higher tiers, and it's more for fun, but at the same time, most of everyone on my side were relatively new to the game. We're talking about maybe collectively my entire side had, maybe 100 battles fought collectively. The opposite side, the enemy players were pretty much in the same boat, except for these two players. After being completely demolished in a minute and a half, I decided, you know what, I'm going to start looking around in my garage for details and whatnot. So I ended up going into service records of the two players and found out pretty much that these guys were way, way better than all of the competition that they were going against, and even the players on their side. How much better, you ask? Well, here you see I clearly have 4,000 battles under my belt, but I still can't compare to what one of the players, let alone both of the players, had under battle experience. We're talking about just one player having 68,000 battles fought under his belt, and his partner exceeded him at 73,000 battles. Now, I understand that WoT is supposed to be a competitive online game. It's supposed to test how good you do. But seriously, how can you test yourself against someone that has a massive advantage like this? Let alone two people that have a massive advantage like this. I mean, they know the layout of the map. They know where to go, when to go, how to go. They know what tanks they're going to be fighting. They know the weaknesses of said tanks, and they know the weaknesses and advantages of their tanks. So how does this equal out to being competitive? When you have 70,000 battles versus someone who has even 100, it's not even fair. Here I'm at 4,000 battles fought, and I don't care what anyone says, because I'm not going to change my mind on the matter. That is experience with the game itself. Battles fought is how much you know about the game, where to go. I'll tell you right now, I know a lot more than I did when I first started playing this game. I'm still learning. I'm only at tier 7, and I'm flabbergasted, literally, at how ridiculous some of the matches are that I end up getting into by just hitting the battle button. I think the best way for this game to excel any further, at least for me, would be, I hate to say this, but limit what players are allowed to battle against. I mean, there's no way it was fair if I have my 4,000, I'm going against someone who has 80,000 battles. It's insanity. And there's one thing, it's one thing to have a hard game. A hard game, I accept the challenge. I understand it's a hard game, but at the same time, a hard game can be fun. But there's a difference between a hard game and an unfair game. And that's what the issue here is. An unfair advantage to the enemy side. That's just, it just blows my mind that they even allow something like this. How does Wargaming want people to stay in their game and say, I want to continue, I want to play more, other than just being a tank nut like I am? I love tanks. But aside from that, what do they want people to do? I had a few friends that tried this game, and they started from scratch, and they quit. They quit at 100 battles. They said it's ridiculous because the amount of people that are just ridiculously better than they are, and they constantly face them. It's not like an even match. I don't know how things are run on the EU server, but when I see matches that Quickie Baby and the Mighty Jingles put up, where one side is somewhat a little bit better than the other, but it's just like a minuscule amount of a little bit better. Here on the US servers, things are completely the opposite. You get these landslide wins constantly. If I have 10 battles, I would say, honestly, 6 matches out of the 10 are landslide wins for the opposition or on my side. Now, you would be thinking, well, that's good that you're getting a huge advantage like that on your side. Is it? Because if you watch how some of these more advanced players play, they literally dominate the opposition. Dominate. I mean, there's no questioning what abilities they have. And they just steamroll right on in. You're either being steamrolled or are doing the steamroll. And usually when you are doing the steamroll, you're trying to keep up with these better players, but you simply just can't. I mean, it's one thing to have one side, and collectively one side has, let's say, 200,000 battles fought as a group. Your whole team has 200,000 battles fought against another team that may have 150,000 battles fought. You understand where I'm going with this? It's somewhat even there, but not from the matches I have been playing. I have literally been watching matches lasting a minute and a half. I've even had a match last less than that. Complete stampede where one side didn't even lose a single tank. But this is fair? This is supposed to be a challenge for a player? How is it? So my suggestion, quite simple, is to separate the players. Say, put the first 100 matches against, 100 to 500 or something, you know? You gotta break it up, because it's, right now it's bullshit that you have to face someone that is tens of thousands of battles fought over you. A lot of people argue that that doesn't mean anything, because people will pay to win past it. Then you know what? I have no sympathy for those people that want to pay to get past where they are. I'm talking about people that are trying to do this the even Steven way. They are earning their way through. They are learning. Learning and earning. But, sadly enough, Wargaming doesn't want to do that. I just don't understand what the hang up with it is. I would imagine Wargaming would want more people to come in and say, hey, how about we make the game a little more acceptable for new players instead of taking a new player, dumping them in to the fray against people that have been playing this probably since conception of the game's title, you know? It's just my thought on it. I have part 2 coming up here shortly, so until then, enjoy what you're playing. Bye.